When your mission is to give the consumer the experience of a lifetime, every time they visit, you'll be at Schweiger Vineyards. Well, I want to thank you, Fred, for having us back up to this magical place. And one thing I want people to recognize is that this specialness of place doesn't just happen overnight. You've been doing this a long time. Share with us the story of how this all happened at Schweiger.
How it happened, in 1961, I bought property behind my parents' property up here. It sat here, heavily wooded, just a beautiful piece of ground with beautiful trees till 1979. And in 1970, I'm a general building contractor.
Okay.
And in 1979, there was a recession. Interest rates were 21%. None of us had any work. And I had a good crew of 4 carpenters. And at a whim, during lunchtime, the guys were getting all depressed. I said, listen, how about if I'll pay you better than unemployment, you want to help me cut down trees? They said, what are you talking about? Well, I have this idea. So they said, okay, well, all right. And then I went home that night and convinced Sally why it was a good idea to plant a vineyard. For what? And she says, for why? Well, a hobby. And that's where it started.
So in 1979, you convinced 4 unemployed workers and your spouse that it'd be a good idea to clear some land and plant a vineyard. And then when you were clearing the land, you discovered...
At the site out here behind us, there were 10 hand-split redwood grape stakes, a meter by a meter, which is the old European style of planting. And I jumped out of the cat and I looked down there and by God, I measured them and I pulled them up and put them aside. And I thought, then I went down and did some more history research in the valley. Turns out this area in the 1850s had been cleared and planted by the Italian, German, and French immigrants.
4 grapes.
4 grapes. And the mountains were more important. It was ideal for them because it was like it was at home in the Alps. So in the 1920s, of course, the 3 Ps took it out. Phylloxera, Pierce's disease, and prohibition. They abandoned this land. And just it all grew back because the fir trees and madrones and oak love a pH of about 5.8. And before I cleared, I didn't quite shoot from the hip, but I had done soil tests.
Sure.
The soil samples from up here were 5.8, right on target.
Amazing inspiration from that standpoint. So fast forward 40 plus years and now some of these original vines are still there, producing exceptional fruit. What is the portfolio and the wine mission as it relates to the consumer experience?
Well, for us, the soils we have, the terroir, as is known, where our roots are down 25 feet and we are blessed not to irrigate, whereas the valley floor has to irrigate. Their topsoil is only 8 to 10 feet deep. We're 25 feet deep, plenty of water, no matter in the most serious of droughts, we always had plenty of water.
Favorite thing about the business?
Favorite thing about the business is the wonderful people we meet every day.
I guess we should talk with Andy and hear what his style is.
Sure.
Well, as I told your father, it's great to be back again. And one of the things I find most impressive is your tenure here. So you've got 24 years working the exact same estate fruit. Walk me through what that provides you and how gratifying that is.
Well, it's really fun, especially in this day and age of a lot of consolidation and vineyards being purchased by other wineries. I have a lot of peers in the industry who suddenly found vineyards they've been working with for the last 5 or 6 years are no longer accessible to them. And I think most winemakers in Napa Valley are really trying to be expressive of the terroir where they're getting their fruit from. I know for me, that's my style, that, we work our butts off out in the vineyard to grow the best quality fruit we can. Our job in the cellar is then to express the nuances of that vineyard. So if you're not in a state program and every 3 or 4 years you're losing your fruit source, your style in the cellar is going to change, and the end result is the bottle the consumer is going to see is going to be different than what they had 5 years ago. So it's really unique for us that for over 25 years now, we've had the same vineyard manager, the same winemaker, the same fruit source.
And share with us a little bit about kind of the portfolio and also the signature that that nuance, that terroir, is expressed through the varietals that you're growing?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, it's always been Cabernet up here.
Okay.
Cabernet and Merlot. And in the early days, Dad said, no blending, just 100% Cabernet and 100% Merlot. Over time, I started to show him that, we can create some nuances and some differences. Not a better wine, but a different style, a different approach to winemaking, and something that would pair differently with a meal than a straight up Cabernet.
Okay.
So we planted Cabernet Franc and Malbec here, and so today we do our Bordeaux blend called Dedication, and we also do small amounts of varietal Cabernet Franc, Malbec, and Merlot that are often only 100 case production. So those go out to our wine club and are sold out usually within an hour of release.
Absolutely. Well, I've heard endless accolades about the wine. Should we taste them?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Really great time up here at Schweiger Vineyards on top of Spring Mountain. Fred, 40 plus years with the property. Andy, 25 plus years crafting wines. Do yourselves a favor. Come to Schweiger Vineyards. Thank you so much for all your support.